Good morning. Welcome to Sunday morning coffee number 215. As Gary in the comments there has just remarked, it's 215. It's quite a lot. So thanks for still coming along. Thanks for me being entertaining enough to have made it this far. So excellent. I've got lots to talk about today and a relatively small. I'm going to try and be about half an hour today. So I've got to crack into all of the shenanigans. Everything's good. Yeah, it's checking nothing weird. Well, the usual amount of weirdness is good. Hello everyone who is here. So it is Sunday. It is Partisan, and I'm not at Partisan where I normally am. So a few years ago, I stopped. Well, with COVID, pretty much, I stopped trading at most places, but Partisan was one of my favourite. The only reason I continued to do Expo, Salute, and Battle Attack is because they're the biggest ones. So I could only justify doing them because of money. Whereas a lot of the other shows, it was because I have to hire a van, I have to hire somebody to drive the van, and it just becomes really expensive. So I've got to make a lot of money back to make it worthwhile. So I dropped out of shows, and I really regret it because I want to go back to them. I enjoyed the rest, but I've got to try and get my way back into them now, which is quite difficult. So I do have a bit of a FOMO. So I've been going to Partisan since I stopped trading there. I've been going there, I think, to like every single one, and I've been helping out other stands. So I've been helping out either Great Escape or Fenris, and it's a bit like, it's good. It's good to see people. It's good to not be working. But I'm also like, I could be selling loads of stuff and I'm not. And I still get really tired because it's still a trade show for a full day. So it still gets really draining. Because that was another of the issues with doing shows, that they would just knacker me for like a week afterwards. So properly doing a trade show helping was just really exhausting. So it was like I had all the cons of doing a show, but not the pro. I also didn't have to do all the, setting it up. No, I did do the setting up, the getting things ready beforehand and stuff, but I'm in a bit of like, I want to go. I want to go and trade there. And because it's just really hot, and that's my excuse. I love Partisan, and I hope I can get a stand there again, because I think I've figured a way of doing the Newark shows at least, so I can add those back into the calendar, because I do want to be doing more shows again because they're nice. So if you're at Partisan, you will see this in the future. I hope you had a good show. But it's a bonus for people who aren't there, because here I am. Whee! So good luck. I think it's just opened at Partisan, so good luck to all the traders there. So what we got? So last week there wasn't a show because I was in Wales. There was a show. It was on Friday. Quite liked doing it on a Friday, to be fair. As I was away, and then I was up really early, up early and ready, and then I realised I had too much time, so I had a nap. So I had a nap just to make sure I was nice and sleepy for the show. It's the van that because I need to have a tall van because the racks are 6 foot. I kind of wish. What's his name? Early War Minis does this hack where he's like cut them in half and then they just stack on each other. I kind of want to sort something like that out, because I hate that I have to get a really big van, because I only don't fill it very deep, but I need the height, and you don't really get stubby vans. Speed through. I was in a car crash on Monday. That was fun. I only really posted on Twitter because I realised that was the only place I'd put a casual post. But it was really bad. On the way back from Wales on the A40, I was chatting away to my friend, and then a car and a van crashed right in front of us. Like going across the lane, sort of like collision right in front of us, and all the stuff, all the shrapnel coming at us. My last words were "fuck." And I thought that was it. That sounds really dramatic, but that was it. There were just two exploding cars right in front, and we were going straight into it. And it was one of those like brace yourself, and I'm okay. What has happened? And they'd collided so hard they'd kind of bounced off either side. I think so. My I'd filled in my report for the police yesterday, which was just like I don't know, I don't know. Some cars exploded. So yeah, these two cars just like absolutely destroyed. My friend saved us. I think she did a very good emergency stop, but we had like propelled in front of it from that because they'd. So yeah, it was like they just skimmed the sides of us. So we were all fine. We're absolutely fine. So we got out. She's a first aider, so she ran and helped everyone. Whilst I was going, can I hold a thing? Going, I really should take a first aid course. But I was just kind of making myself a bit useful. And yeah, it was really bad. So I don't want to speak too much because it's other people, but they weren't in a good way. Yeah, so we kind of had to wait around there whilst we were kind of helping them and chatting. Mostly it's just chatting to people to like keep them going till all the emergency services got here. But yeah, it was a van of people and a car of people. And I say I don't want to say much more, but it was pretty gnarly. But yeah, they all got ambulanced away, and we went okay, back on the road, I guess. So once we kind of got to the next services, we were like, are we okay? That was really bad because it was, you go into like helping mode. So we were flinching all the way back, and I've noticed I've been flinching a bit this week. I'm sure I'll be fine. My brain's going like, oh, you're being way dramatic. You weren't in the crash. But yeah, it was, I have no idea how we weren't. It was so weird. It was so weird. We must have just like millimetered it or something for it to not be involved, or like the three cars, it would have been absolutely wild. And it was a really fast collision as well. But yeah, they've got to have to fill in all the police shenanigans. I can't really say much either. Yeah, it's the adrenaline spike. Yeah, I was just like, that was a thing. That sure was. So yeah, so that was Monday. So that was how Monday started off. So that was a good start to it. After before that happened, I'd been to Tredegar House, which is my favourite secondhand bookshop. So there's not Tredegar House, but there's a barn. If you're ever there, it's free. It's not in the paid bit, and it's like 50p a softback, £1 a hardback, and it's just a whole barn of books. So I did have the books there. So I got a nice stack. I got a couple of SOE books, and I thought a few more World War II. I was in Wales for a very short time, just to see a friend, and that was really nice. So I did have a nice time in Wales as well. I did not, I did not see the Aurora Borealis. I did spend a lot of the weekend going, it's a lie, it's a lie. I didn't know that you had to look through you had to use a phone setting to see it. I thought the sky was pink and purple and stuff. And then I was getting annoyed at myself because I was like, am I so rubbish that I can't see what everyone else is seeing? And then it was kind of the second night that that people had said, oh no, it's got to be through a filter on the phone. I'm like, well, it's not really. And then I tried my phone and I still couldn't see it. So I think I was just unlucky, to be fair. So I did not see. But the first night I was like, can't sleep, angry at the Borealis. So yeah, I didn't even see it in Wales. So that means it didn't happen. Gary says, are you off the coffee today? I'm not. I've run out. I've run out, and it's also really hot. And I think I'm going to get myself through quite a lot of coffees today. So I've just got a bit of juice. Oh yeah, mug reveal is the old beer festival cup. What we got there? Yeah, Carol sums it up. I seriously can't be asked to use my phone to look at the Aurora Borealis. Because then I thought, is that what it's like up in Norway in places? And they were going, no, it's not. It's not. And it's fine, and I'm sure lots of people had a lovely time. But I noticed, yeah, like there was just barely anyone saying at the time, "Oh yeah, it's not out there like that." So I was thinking, like, this is what people pay all this money to go to Norway, and it's like, no, it's not actually the same. But it's fine. I'm in the bitter camp. There's like people who saw it and it was really cool, people who didn't know, like, it was overrated anyway, and that is me. Yes, we'll definitely have some official Pig mugs for the future game. Yes. So I should get on to bad Squiddo news rather than me. My parallel me's. I'm quite into parallel universe. I was like, oh, some parallel me's didn't make it. Oh, I didn't like it. At least I won't go blind with if it's arrived. This is true. So this week, so I got back. I worked Tuesday, going, oh, I don't know if I feel very well. I worked Tuesday, and then I was due to go. You can't see me count anyway. I was due to go to London on Thursday, and then I was looking at what was on and saw that there was a sore throat. Hang on a minute. There was a talk by Clare Mulley, who is an author of a book that I really like on Christina Scarbeck. She's also written a book about Hannah Reich and the lady, unfortunately, whose name keeps coming out of my mind. I need to learn it. Von Stauffenberg. Someone will say. She did a book on those two pilots I haven't read yet, but I have read about those two pilots before, so it was one that was on my to-do to read. She's released a new book, which I had on pre-order, so then went and cancelled my pre-order. It was I'd pre-ordered it on Not a Brave Place anyway. It's my own fault. So I cancelled that pre-order because I knew she was doing signings. So I thought I'll go buy it at the War Museum. So, God, how am I going to get this done off? I can do this. We're talking about the Borealis. So I saw that there was a talk on about Agent Zoe, who's her new book, who's a Polish resistance lady. And she seems especially fascinating. So I didn't know anything about it, but I pre-ordered the book. So like, well, I will find out through the book. And I thought it's too good an opportunity to miss to go to that talk. But I've got my tickets booked because I booked my way in advance cheap tickets to London. So I can't move them or get them cancelled. So I've got to do an extra day. So I've got to buy another train ticket and just sacrifice the other one. So I went just like in the middle of the day, I think it was. So in the middle of the day, but it meant that I'd have to stay in London, which is very expensive, and I am skint. So I went, I've sold more of the figures so I can stay in better places. So I stayed in a 30 quid youth hostel, which was an experience I've done before, but not at this age. And so the upper age limit for it was 36. I think after 36, they designate you not cool enough. So I just scraped in, and it was such a contrast being at the War Museum doing all this proper war things, and then afterwards having to like. I think I opened the doors to this hostel and it was just full of like 20-year-old lads with Carlsberg doing those like drinking chants. And I was like, what have I done? Why am I here? And they're like, where have you come from, bro? And I'm like, Nottingham. What you doing? I don't even know what accent that is because they were English. They're like cool guy thing. What you hidden up in an old London town? Like, Imperial War Museum talk on like resistance fighters. We loved it. Was a party hostel, and I knew that when I booked it. I just thought I'm just gonna wing it. I don't know what's gonna happen. So on their description, it's like, we love to party, come to party town. And I just want to go to bed. I'll go to my room. Oh no, my room is full of men. I was going to put as a clickbait title, what? I slept with 8 men, but I thought it would be too unprofessional for anyone that didn't get the clickbait. Carol says the evil still sounds worse than the car crash. It was quite close, to be fair. So so yeah, I was sat in this room going, it's 8 o'clock, but there are all boys down there. And there was a guy there, and I said, "Oh, I feel a bit old." And he said, "Oh, don't worry about." I was chatting to someone the other day, and he was 30. I was like, "Oh my god!" So I thought, I can't sit. I can't just stay up here. I need to at least get a water or something. So I ended up this. I'm not going to do this in time. Am I? I'm going to skim these tails. Um, I ended up staying in the bar, and I met some wicked people in the bar, and I had a really nice evening, which was unexpected. And a few people had offered me places to stay, including Tim, who's like, "Please, if you are stuck, don't have to stay with the men." I do like booking things, doing things that push me out of my comfort zone, and challenge anxiety a bit. Because one of them was just like, "I don't know if I want to leave this room. I genuinely don't know." And like, I have to leave the room. Do it, do it. And I did, and I had a really nice evening. Because so they had all the lads. All the lads went out eventually. They all left. But I met some other people that went up for the lad night. So so we had a really nice evening. I stayed up quite late for me actually, and I had a few beers with these people, and it was really nice. And they were at least pretending to be interested in the war, so that was good. And they had some interesting stories. So I actually had a really good night. I did then go back to my bunk where throughout, I felt like every hour or 2 hours, a pair of the men would come back, and so I didn't get any sleep really. Because then I got it was one of those things where I'm like, am I being brave or am I actually being quite stupid? It's like I'm in a room with 8 guys that are all drunk, and I've been arguing the bear man thing all week. Um, so each time I was like, it's probably okay. But yeah, each time the people got in and then got into like adrenaline mode, or like as if I don't have a weapon, but that's like because I was in my bunk going, oh, I actually don't like this at all. What have I done? Why didn't I just pay the money? Um, but it was fine. I lived, and I was out there in the morning. And it was 30 quid. So you'll probably do it again. 30 quid, not bad. No, I went, I'll stay with Tim the Sim. They've made sure I'm gonna stay there. It was an experience, and I am a sucker for an anecdote. So I should probably get on to more bad Squiddo news. So what time is it? Right. I reckon if I'm done, I may be off on another adventure. That's why I'm clock eyeing. I'm done by 40. I'll have to be done by 40. So War Museum, I've been there before, and I love it. It's a really good museum, and it's got very good books. What have I got? I went around the World War II gallery, the Ashcroft Gallery, where every time I go there, I think, is it because the medals are really valuable? Because I always feel like they're really guarded. You're not allowed to take photos, which I meant to check why. Is it so people don't go and steal them? Like a protection thing? But it's where they have all the medals. As I take reference photos to go back, and last time I was there, I took a photo, and the guy was like throwing my phone on the ground and stomping it. Not quite. He did ask me to delete pictures though, and I was just confused. I may have sheltered him. No, I can't tell you. So anyway, I was there. Um, I've got a whole bunch of reference for people that I'm going to make because I'm really excited by this World War II resistance project, and I do want every single person, every single figure to be representative of a person. So I've got some more names and some more stories. There's been some good. So I've already read quite a chunk of the Agent Zoe book, and there's been some really good bits in there where they talk about other resistance fighters and the ways like where they smuggled things or how they smuggled them, and they were just such good examples of such good examples of minis. Yes, so I'm reading going, that's going to be a mini, that's going to be a mini. I had a really nice time in War Museum. I like going around places on my own, so I had like a nice go at my own pace and had lots of sit downs in the cafe. And that was really nice. I brought the Christina Scarbeck. Wait there a sec. Give me a sec. I'm back. So I brought this with me. So this is the Christina Scarbeck mini, painted by John, sculpted by Alan. Whee! What? She didn't fall off. Apparently this is something everyone's been doing for ages, but I've only just discovered it. But yeah, these little dice. It won't focus. I'm not even going to try. These little dice things, and they're just one of my little sticky pads. So I brought it along to show her, like a nerd. So Rise has got an image of Annie wearing the cowboy hat from Simpsons with a hidden camera. Yeah. Going click. So because it wasn't just the medals, they had a few interesting bits in there that I'd like to have photographed. They had some. Oh my god, I haven't got my notes in front of me. They had some of the gear of the people. It was Odette Sampson and Violet Sabo. Did she get the cross? I can't remember. There's a lot of names in my mind. They had some of their gear, which was really nice. Really nice. I'd like some of their clothing and stuff. I think it was Odette that had a dark uniform that meant that if she ever did get captured, it wouldn't show up the dirt, and I quite liked that. So yeah, I brought this along. So I thought I'll be a nerd, and when I do get to meet Clare Mulley, I'll go, look what we made. And I also brought her a little present of some minis. So she did get an unpainted Christina. So yeah, she did the biography for Christina Scarbeck. And but I was killing some time beforehand, and I was in the cafe reading the book, and I saw her. I was like, oh no, I don't want to bother her because she's obviously prepping before the speech. I don't want to intrude. And then she came over. She came over and said, excuse me, are you part of Squiddo Games? And I pretty much stood up and knocked like everything off the table. Going, yes, that's me. That's me. Yeah, because I'd interacted with her a bit on Twitter, but I just assume that everyone hates me, which I think that a lot of people can resonate with. So whenever I don't think, oh, a person has chatted to me. I think, oh, they're like obliged to, I guess. Woo, imposter self-esteeminess. But no, she came up, she was like, oh yes, she said, did you bring her? And I went, yes. So I kept going in my bag, like, I've got it here, yay. So she was really chuffed. And she got a photo as well. So there's a nice photo, though this is so small you can't quite see it, but we're both like, yes. And I had a chat with her, telling her about how minis are made and what we do and everything, and she was really excited, and it was just really nice. It was one of those good like mutual appreciation things. I got all my books signed, which was cool. I was like, I don't do talk now. So yeah, it was just really lovely because these are more of these people that I want to connect with, because we can do a lot of that. What's the word? Not cross promo, because she's a massive academic. So when I meet these people, I just feel like a chimney sweep. I'm like, all right, governor, make me some minis. So she seemed quite keen about doing something, so that was quite cool. So where's my brain at? God, oh you, look at you over there. So yeah, it was just really nice, and yeah, it makes sense that I'm making minis of women from World War II. She's writing books about women from World War II. So like, I just want to talk to you. So I've decided I'm definitely going to make a mini of Agent Zoe. So I've got her email address now. So I'm going to get her to have a little look over it before we do anything as well. But one of the things that she did was parachute in a dress. She does have an overcoat and everything, but I reckon I can do her like she's taking her coat off and she's just like, oh, just parachuted. And she's got a like cardigan and dress and everything, and a bit of the like trailing parachute. I think that'd be really cool. So I'm still learning about her, but she seems ace. Yesterday I walked in from hammock because I've been out. The weather's been really nice. I've been in the hammock, so I walked out from hammock and said to Andy, I think Zoe might be gay, but I haven't figured it out yet. There's a bit quite early on where I think she or someone else says, because she describes a very, very detailed amount about her very close female friendships. And then I think at one point it was like, but not in a gay way. And then at some other bit, it was like, oh, she didn't have any interest in men. They were just like not interested at all. I'm like, hmm. But it's one of those where you don't need to be speculating. And I was like, damn it, Annie, stop deciding everyone's gay. Can't make everyone gay. Thank you, Robert. That was very nice. It's very nice. Daniel says her standing with the parachute gatherer makes a good mini. Yes. So let me just tick off where I'm at. Brought my Christina. The talk was really good, so I'm going to keep an eye out for War Museum talks. I'm not going to go and stay at a hostel afterwards. But I have seen that I think Helen Fry did one there, so I'm going to keep an eye out for these interesting historians. And yeah, it's just nice to see, who's the guy? Roger Morehouse was there, and even he was saying like more women and more people talking about women and telling stories that people don't know about is really good. So it's nice. Like, I like doing stuff on the field because it gets me way more interested. Like books and stuff are good, but going out there and just seeing stuff and just getting to wander around and be like, oh, that's gonna get made. That's happening. That's a really good start for some information to look up. And it's just, so the day, well, it's more like the afternoon at War Museum was wicked. Oh yeah, and Clare Mulley said in her talk, I got a question and I started my thing off because you have a microphone and you can't have a microphone without saying something wild. So I was like, you rock! Didn't say that. I said, I think you rock. And she says, you rock too. So I officially rock. So there. So yeah, went back, stayed in my party hostel, being young. The guy, I love the guy that was working there that was trying to feign interest when I was like, I've been to the museum. Ah, he was like that. All right, yeah. We got an uncool here. Like, cooler than all of you, good damn it. So yeah, it was actually fun in the hostel. And the downside is I really need my sleep. And I was so sleepy the next day that I think it did not spoil but dampen somewhat because I was just so tired. So at least I started the day off chirpy. I went to the V&A. It's got 8 minutes. God, I could do this. I went to the V&A because I wanted to meet Eleanor. It's not really Eleanor. I put a post up last night. It's like the cast of the effigy of Eleanor of Aquitaine that I really wanted to meet. That was really cool. Something I liked about Claire's talk was seeing how enthusiastic she was about ZUCC and how you get kind of attached to the people that you're researching. And it was like seeing it from a third person of how I feel about the minis and the people I research. So when I got to see Eleanor, it was like, oh, Eleanor, even though it's not you, it's still like it's an item, a cast. So they have a part of V&A called the cast rooms, and they're casts of all sorts of famous sculptures. But it's great because you still get to see the texture and shape and all that sort of stuff. And to be fair, a lot of them you wouldn't know. You could quite easily pass it off. So I think the originals would, but so yeah, they had her cast. So I got to photograph from different angles, which is always important because you get like the same angle that goes, the main official photos. And it means I have my own photos if I ever want to do anything sort of promotional with them as well. Although things like that, I'm not sure because of who owns them, but that's a whole other thing. So Eleanor was cool. Had a nice little chat with Eleanor. There needs to be like CCTV footage from me at museums when I spot something that I recognise, because it's like this little skip across. I was like, oh no, I see you. There's like the whole lineup of effigies. I'm like, there she is. So that was really cool. We've got lots of plates. I went to sit down on a bench and a guy came up and I was like, I've sat on another relic bench. I knew it. And he said, are you bad Squiddo? And I was like, oh yes, I am. And it was one of the fans. So Richard had a really nice chat with Richard, and that was cool. And then I saw him a bit later on. Oh my god! He helped me find my coat. I put it in the cloakroom, and I went, "Oh, there's a lot of cloakrooms here." When I went to get it, but that was really nice. So I forgot to ask if he watches any of the things or whatever. So, hi, Richard. So that was a man who worked there, and he was very helpful as well. So that was really cool. So thank you all. I went to the V&A as a child, I think, and I can remember finding it a bit boring. And I thought, now I'm an adult, I'll appreciate the things. But I do find a lot of it, it's a very big museum though. I did find a lot of it a bit boring, but doesn't mean it's boring. It just wasn't my thing. So I know that my point of interest changes a lot, and I don't feel bad about it. I used to feel like I had to really appreciate every single thing in a museum. And then I learned about the phrase museum fatigue, where you've kind of just looked at a lot of things and just nothing comes in. So, like, you go, wow, you start off the day and you're like, wow, look at this painting. This is absolute the way they've done it. And then a bit later, you're like, oh, wow, another master's painting. Cool. Because you just can't process any of it. So I don't feel bad about that anymore when I'm just not into something. And I think that's quite an important takeaway from stuff like museums. Like, you don't have to be absorbed by all of the things or force yourself to, because I could have spent the whole day there and I just would have been really tired. I don't have any current interest in a lot of the things that were there. So there are lots of that sort of pottery and stuff, and that's just personally not my interest. So my favourite bit there was the cast rooms, because there were loads of really cool bits. A bit of me, I had World War II on the mind as well. So I was just like, I think I'd had such a a useful day the day before. It's like, I don't want to just stare at some random objects that I'm going to forget or take pictures of, and I'm never going to look back at the pictures. So I was quite discerning. So, all right, I've got the day. I'm going to be here really late. So I went around the medieval galleries. They were good. I saw some cool bits. But the cast rooms I really liked. Statues I really like because Statues I really like because they give me ideas for poses and also where they've been cast. It's like the same process. So it's so it's some really good ideas, even if it's not that particular mini. I'm like, oh, that's a good pose, because they're still like the set poses that people have been doing forever. So yeah, don't worry. I'm not saying it was rubbish, but I went to see Eleanor. I think I was just so tired. Saw Eleanor, and then I was like, yeah, there's another chair and vase. But I know that when there's something particular I'm looking for, then it's things that have kind of previously been like just grayed out in my mind because I'm just not into them. Are suddenly interesting, because I think of all the World War II stuff I used to go around and be like, oh, this is so boring. And now I'm like, ooh, now I know about things. So that was kind of good, because I thought it would take me all day. But I think because of the I was tired, I was hot, and it was rainy. I kind of thought, right, I'm going to move on, because I also wanted to do a bit of a map, which is what I did with British Museum last time I was there, where I just kind of skim around and make a note of what's there, so then in the future when I need specific stuff, I can go back. So I ran to, I've only got a couple of minutes, I need to go. What have I got here? I ran to the Science Museum, which is literally across the road. So I ran out to the Science Museum because I knew there was a half-completed analytical engine there, which is what Ada Lovelace was working on. I wasn't sure if they had any other Ada Lovelace stuff, so kind of ran, saw that, which was really nice. Got to see a bit about Ada, and saw I didn't know they had a massive difference engine that they'd made obviously a lot later on. I think it was the 80s or 90s. So that was really cool to see a life size and get to like have a proper look around, and like it's mad that it's just like, let me answer that sum for you, crank, and you've like got to crank the big calculator. So that was really good. And I ran out of there, and I wanted to go to the Wallace Museum, so I ran out there, ran onto the tube, got to the Wallace Museum, and I think I just wasn't in the mood. My mood had kind of dropped a bit. I think I was just tired. So I'd like to caveat that any of this is, you project things, don't you? So because I was a bit tired and I was a bit more like, ugh. So Wallace had really wanted to go to. That was one of the original main points. But I think because I wasn't in the mood, I wasn't a fan. But there were some really cool things there. But on the way there, someone nearly hit me with a bike, and to the point that we both screamed. And I think that, again, that and the tired, I was just like, I want to go home now. I'm done. I got told off quite a lot at the Wallace Museum for doing things wrong. And I've got a bit of a chip on my shoulder in fancy places. So again, it's entirely my fault. I'm sure it was a nice place. But because I just kept getting told off and I was agitated, I was just like, they're not good enough for this museum, am I? It was very fancy. So, but yeah, I'm aware I do get a bit like that. I'm just like, they don't want me here. I'm just a chimney sweep. This is for cultured people. I'm not a cultured person, and that sort of thing. So I didn't stay there that long. And then there were lots of forbidden chairs. And my feet were hurting by then, so I was kind of just like shuffling around. There's some really, I'm definitely going to go back there because the Arms and Armour collection is really good. But because I wasn't specifically looking for anything, it's just like, that's some Arms and Armour. There are a few specific standout bits that were really nice. And I liked, they had some cool, like, decorative but also useful mask armour that'll be useful at some point. I think my final straw was they were ignoring me whilst I was waiting to get seated for a coffee, so I flounced off. It's like, no, they don't want my peasant money. But again, none of this is a reflection on the place. Just me with a massive chip on my shoulder. So I thought, right, it's 4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock. I'm going to end the day on a high. I'm going to go to the British Museum because I know they've got the Palmyra F funeral busts there that aren't of Zenobia, but they're very similar, and they're what I based some of the model on. So I can at least get to see those and finish off my sort of like visiting minis we've already made. I was like, come on, Annie, you can do this. You can get there. So I got to, I think it was like 4:15. 4:15, got to British Museum. No queue, great. No, you don't have tickets, you got to go around the back. And I was like, around the back, because that's what I am, a chimney sweep. So dragging myself round. It's a big building. You know, and your feet are just like, so I drag her onto the back. And the queue at the back was so long. It's like, there's no way that queue is all making it in before 5 o'clock, where you'll then get kicked straight out. So I was just like, I'm done. I'm done now. I'm officially done. But I went and I got some food and I sat outside and I had a can of watermelon juice, which is the nicest thing in the world ever, which was just like, rejuvenate. And then I met up with Tim and Sim. So I got to have a nice catch up with them and I was a bit more alive for that. We had some food and drink. Yay! And because I'd booked everything way in advance, I had first class on the way back. So it was wasted on me by that point because they were like, do you want all these different foods? I was like, no, just a water, please. So yeah, I had a nice journey back and kind of sloped back into the house. But I did have a nice trip. I don't want to make it look like I was moaning. It was just my candid reality. Again, sometimes it's like that on trips, isn't it? You can't absolutely be there for all of it. Yeah, it was a lot. I fit in too much that second day. It was nice to just do the War Machine, the War Museum the day before, but it was all worth it. I'd normally have only done one. I normally try and limit London to a day, to be fair, but because I'd already committed to the Thursday, I was like, I'll do 2 days. But I didn't have a specific so some stuff there. I didn't have a specific quest for the Thursday, I think, was where I was a bit lost. And I'd foolishly booked my train to be leaving at 9 p.m. so yeah, I was just kind of like this zombie going, I will make the most of it. And then I got to work Friday. The internet just wasn't working, so I stormed home. I've also noticed that I was very hormonal this week, so that didn't help. I think that was also playing into it. So I went, screw this, there's no internet. What country is this? But I worked at home yesterday in the sun and I got lots done. But I couldn't get the orders out Friday, which was frustrating because I'd obviously been away 2 days. But the internet, I couldn't book the thingy. So that'll be going Monday. What have I got here? So I've been researching, been reading a book in the hammock, been doing lots of hammock chilling out this weekend, not this week. And I do have to run away in a moment. But hopefully you enjoyed my tales of London, the highs, the lows. And yeah, I want to just keep making sure I go to more of these things. because it's just nice. It's just like as soon as I get out and I'm approaching a museum and I've got my backpack, and I feel like that little picture of the bunny with the little backpack, and I'm like, yes, the world is mine. And it's just really nice, and it gets me infused. And I am infused even by the museums where I was sulking a little. I think because it had rained as well, and I was just like, I just look like, but they shouldn't. They should be nice and polite to everybody, the proper people, as well as the Annie chimney sweeps. But that's what it's like. And so London, it's London, isn't it? I did message Tim, I think about 4, and say London's killed my will to live. He said it does do that to people. So there's lots more places. I'm always up for suggestions. If you go, oh, you should go here, you should go here. But it's proved that I'm really into this World War II resistance at the moment. I'm slightly terrified that I've taken on far more than I can chew, and I'm going to have to be very choosy about what we start with. But it's really fascinating to learn about, fascinating to teach you about, gives me good links to authors and all that, so we can try and do some crossovery bits. People get to learn about cool people. I get to make cool minis. You get to buy cool minis, maybe even play with them. So all the bonus of that, it's kind of taken over my brain. Don't worry, I've not forgotten community minis either. It's been, I think that's partly it as well. I had that week off, but it wasn't enough. Like, I'm still very exhausted all the time and not getting enough time to not. So things like going to museums, it's still working, but it's just different. So it's a bit nicer than just that endless sort of computer, especially when the internet is so bad in my office. But I do have to go because I have a train to catch. I'm not going very far though. So I will see you all next Sunday, I believe. Yes, Daniel says, turns out running an international creative business is hard. It is so hard, but thank you for recognising. I love it. It's hard, but I love it. It is the best thing ever. And getting to do this for a job is the dream. And I'm off for a little adventure today. Just a nice little fun friend adventure. So I will see you all. Thank you for coming up. I'm sure I had loads more to talk about, but I've also got to get out of here. I've got to get my train. Bye.